Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And now that I found out I'm the last speaker, I'm going to speak extra long because I know I'm the last guy between you and that door. Okay, you get to stay even longer. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here at the AFCEA Defensive Cyber Operations Symposium. This annual event is impressive, and it's an opportunity for DISA and the department writ large to engage with our partners in industry, to talk about networks, cyber systems, and the evolving threat. I saw some of the booths out there and the interactivity. I thought it was great. I appreciate General Wood, your introduction. Thank you. General Shea and the team at AFCEA International for inviting me here today. And I want to thank my good friend, Lieutenant General Al Lin, his Deputy Major General Sarah Zabel, and my Goomba, Tony Montemero. You don't get a better Italian name than that, do you? The theme for this week's symposium is absolutely on point for cybersecurity and IT, connect and protect. As the policy and strategic oversight for the team at DISA, I will offer a few insights on cybersecurity issues that are strategically important to our team and about how DoD CIO is working to better connect with our partners to better protect the DoD IT environment. I'll talk about how we are connecting with the future cyber workforce through hiring and mentorship. I'll talk about how we're connecting across the department to improve shared cybersecurity posture through the Cyber Scorecard. And I'll talk about how we are connecting with industry through a better way forward on cloud security and sharing information through events like the one I am hosting later this month in AT&L. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. A common thread through everything we do in defense, and more so in cybersecurity, is industry partnerships. We can't solve today's complicated problems with yesterday's thinking or technologies. As all of you are well aware, IT innovation today, more often than not, comes from industry and not government. We need key enablers like machine learning and artificial intelligence to meet the threat at velocity. But technology alone cannot solve our cybersecurity challenges. We need an exceptional cyber workforce, a shared commitment to cybersecurity across the department, and effective industry partnerships. General Zabel's panel earlier today covered many of the points related to the cyber workforce, focusing on readiness in the cyber domain, the fight for talent and resources. This discussion focused on building and training our cyber workforce. That's critically important, and we need to focus on that. While there are many vantage points from which to examine our cyber workforce today, I will discuss two: hiring and mentorship. First off, raise your hands. How many of you have been to USA Jobs ever? A few. It's pretty bad, right? How many of you like it? Okay, good. That's what I expected. It's not speedy. It's not efficient. The bottom line is the hiring process can be very cumbersome and just plain takes too long. It's frustrating for those of us on the government side, and I believe it's probably even more frustrating for the folks trying to get into government. When hiring cyber professionals, this just doesn't work. So in fiscal year 2016, Congress granted the department new authorities to hire cyber professionals. This is called the Cyber Accepted Service, which is an enterprise-wide approach for managing civilian cyber professionals across the department. This new civilian personnel system will provide more flexibility in DoD hiring practices. DoD components can source candidates with more options, posting jobs clearly identified as cyber accepted service in a range of locations, like on DoD component websites, other publications, jobs fairs, or campus recruiting, or even USA Jobs. It will also leverage a market-based pay structure to deliver more targeted and competitive compensation packages for civilian cyber personnel. One of the ways the compensation packages will be more competitive is by establishing targeted local market supplements based on a range of factors like mission needs or work roles, giving the DoD components the flexibility to hone in on specific parts of the cyber workforce. Now keep in mind, we will never compete with civilian cyber salaries. We just can't. The mission and patriotism need to be the prime motivators for coming here. I think our mission's very interesting, and I think patriotism is an important factor for folks to want to come and work for the Department of Defense or the federal government. So I anticipate the department will issue the personnel practices for the cyber accepted personnel system in July or August of this year. Once on the street, DoD CIO will lead a phased approach to implementing the cyber accepted service across the DoD components with Cybercom, JFHQ DoDIN, and the Deputy CIO for Cybersecurity. The cyber accepted service will help DoD attract talent. I don't want to focus only, though, on the near-term challenges. I want to think about developing the next generation of cyber talent, and we need all of your help in doing that. I want to focus on the challenges with the next generation of younger people and our responsibility to cultivate the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics skills necessary to maintain our nation's competitive edge. I want to take a moment to be thoughtful about this complicated issue and offer my personal opinion. According to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs study, millions of new jobs will be created in specialized areas like computing, cyber, mathematics, and engineering. The study goes on to note that softer social skills will also be crucial in the future. In fact, I believe that polymaths, or what people might think of as a generalist, who are agile, can see the big picture, listen, synthesize, and connect the dots to solve complicated problems will be in very high demand. The future will require the development of a well-rounded workforce that is proficient in the basics. And the basics to me are reading and writing and math, literacy and mathematics. These are enablers for the next generation of cyber talent. Let's start with literacy. The importance of literacy as a key enabler for a child's future is a prevalent social message. Many of you remember Reading is Fundamental. For about 50 years, RIF, Reading is Fundamental, has been committed to a literate America. Being the father of 2 young kids, I believe that literacy is a tool that is vital in my children's success. But how do we encourage literacy in our children? When they're young, we read to them. Later on, we insist, and I demand, that the child read again, and then read some more. We build their confidence in the written word through trial and error. But what about building their confidence in math? It's about inspiring children, creating a strong work ethic, and developing that particular child's perseverance. Perseverance is the key to success in life. Being good at anything requires a degree of perseverance, and accepting that trial and error inevitably goes along with learning. In other words, we fail. Thanks to these efforts, we have had great success in teaching children to read. But many times I've heard people say, well, I'm just not a math person. Have you ever heard anyone say they are not a reading person? Wired magazine published an article entitled, "Quit Saying I'm Not Just a Math Person." The point of the article is that I'm not just a math person is no longer a valid excuse. Research published in Child Development found that hard work, or perseverance, good study habits were the most important factor in improving math ability over time. Hard work, not necessarily natural ability, is the most important factor. Could it be that poor attitudes about math are holding us back? And why is that acceptable? From my perspective, this is about inspiring the children in our lives, creating a strong work ethic, and developing that child's perseverance. Part of it is helping children understand that failure is part of learning. As the department and other employers struggle to attract and retain talent, a larger pool of talent is crucial to our nation's future, competitiveness, and security. Given that this is a conference on cyber, I would expect that many of you are quite aware of the competitive advantage that a STEM graduate has in the job marketplace. I'm guessing that many of you have a difficult time hiring them. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, has a daughter who, while in high school, did not understand where a degree in engineering could take her. She invested her time with her dad. Her dad took her around to meet folks with degrees in engineering to show them what they did, and she could see what the career outcomes that degree could afford would be. This sort of engagement made the difference. It's about confidence, seeing the possibility. She earned her degree in engineering, mechanical engineering to be specific, got a job in engineering, and is working on her master's degree in engineering. And here's the big thing, she's not living at home. There's an important point here. We are all aware that women are less often found in scientific research and development jobs. Through my friend's mentorship, he was able to encourage his daughter in STEM. My point is, we have an obligation, a duty, to mentor and develop young people. If you take anything away from my remarks today, please take that away. Okay, now a little bit more to work. I want to discuss what we're doing to address our cybersecurity challenges. First, I want to talk about the next generation cyber scorecard, then where we're going with cybersecurity in the cloud, and finally the event I mentioned. The foundation for a resilient cybersecurity posture is cyber hygiene. All of you are probably familiar with the WannaCry ransomware issue that was in the news a few weeks ago. In March, Microsoft released a patch for its operating system that addressed this vulnerability. For those who were affected by WannaCry, cyber hygiene may have helped them. We track cyber hygiene across the department through the DoD Cybersecurity Scorecard. The scorecard focuses on cyber basics or cyber hygiene. It tracks compliance across 11 basics. These are the blocking and tackling fundamentals that everybody needs to be secure, like regularly patching systems, keeping operating systems up to date, and two-factor authentication. Cyber hygiene reduces the attack surface for the network. It raises cost and complexity to the adversary. You want it to be hard for the adversary. But metrics are the critical enablers of the scorecard's success. Also, it's having leadership involved. The Deputy Secretary of Defense, the Vice Chairman, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff are involved in pushing us forward in these basics. If an organization can't measure, though, how does it know anything about its cyber readiness and vulnerabilities? This approach has allowed us to make measurable, actual improvement to the department's cybersecurity posture. While there isn't a guarantee, good cyber hygiene makes a difference to cybersecurity. And it's important not to rest on your laurels. So I think we've had great success with the current version of the scorecard, which I refer to sometimes as 1.0. We need to set the bar higher. The current scorecard is static, relies on manual entry. It's kind of limited. My team is working on what we call Cybersecurity Scorecard 2.0. The objective is to create a threat-based or heat-based scorecard that is agile, dynamic, and automatically updated. It will provide leaders with a better understanding and ability to address the threat in real time. Another key step toward meeting our cybersecurity challenge is to reduce our attack surface, to protect our network and drive efficiency and effectiveness. We are advancing our thinking on cybersecurity towards tomorrow's threat environment by improving cloud security. I've recently asked my team to look at the policy behind the cloud access point, and I know everyone in the audience loves the CAP. The CAP is essentially the point through which the Department of Defense Information Network, or the DoD, connects to the cloud. DISA monitors all traffic passing through the CAP. The CAP serves an important purpose for DoD data in the cloud from a cyber perspective, especially for the security of higher impact data. Level 2 data, which is public or non-critical mission information, that's not my focus. At higher impact levels, the security and monitoring provided by the CAP is much more important, and I would say absolutely critical. Because most vendors have connections to the internet, the department needs to make sure that DoD data at level 4 and above is hosted in a secure commercial environment. The CAP is an important way in which we do that for level 4 and above data. It's my job to ensure the most effective IT support to the warfighter and to make best use of resources. So the question to my staff is, how can we do CAP better? Specifically, can CAP be provided as a service by a cloud service provider? That's a significant question. And if it is resolved, it should open opportunities for services and components to move more quickly to commercial cloud providers. The Cloud Computer Security Requirements Guide, or SRG version 1, release 3, will be updated as necessary when we get that far. The DISA Information Assurance Support Environment website has useful information about the current CAP and our cloud security. Commercial cloud vendors are not alone with their cybersecurity requirements for DoD hosted on their systems. The department partners with all of you to better secure all DoD data hosted on vendor systems. Many have asked about the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation Supplement, or DFARS clause, entitled Network Penetration and Contracting for Cloud Services. This clause ensures that unclassified DoD information on a contractor's internal system is safeguarded from cyber incidents, and that any consequences associated with the loss of this information is assessed and minimized via the cyber incident reporting and damage assessment process. It provides a single DoD-wide approach for safeguarding covered contractor information systems and is required in all future solicitations and contracts. We've gotten a lot of questions on that. It's an important rule that will affect a lot of companies, and there's been significant industry interest in it. As a result, DoD CIO is co-hosting a public event with AT&L at the Mark Center on June 23rd. It has been widely advertised and fed BizOp. The objective is to explain the clause, answer industry questions, and present our expectations before the compliance deadline this winter. Our objective at this meeting is to clarify foundational questions like, what are the clauses? How do they fit in with other cybersecurity policies? What is covered defense information, better known as CDI? And how is it identified and marked? How does the rule work in the cloud computing environment? It should be substantive, productive discussion. And the right people are going to be there at the senior level. For those of you who are not already planning to attend or missed the opportunity to sign up to attend, we're recording it and posting it on the DoD public website. The objective is to have the video up and running the same day as the event on June 23rd. On the DoD website, there will be a button that says Industry Information Day Video with the date. In closing, I will ask you to help us build tomorrow's cybersecurity workforce by encouraging applicants to the Cyber Accepted Service when its program is up and running, and by pursuing mentorship opportunities for future STEM workforce. The department cannot succeed in today's cybersecurity threat environment with our partners in government and industry. We can't solve today's complex problems with yesterday's thinking or technologies. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your future help. Thanks again to AFCEA for inviting me to speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Lieutenant General Bob Wood.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Zangardi. We would mention that on your behalf, we will be making a donation, AFCEA will, to the Fisher House on your behalf. We thank you for your thoughts and comments. They tied together a number of the themes that we talked about, acquisition, workforce, security, and we do appreciate you bringing that information forward and giving us a department-level perspective. It isn't exactly the last event because we have two more events that take place after this. One will be the Meet the Seniors session with senior leaders from DISA, and we also have the speed dating with the Small Business Office. That all will occur upstairs on the registration level. We would, however, like to take this opportunity, because it is the last opportunity I have, to speak about the event, about some thanks that are owed to some people that have done a lot of hard work, and I would like to do that at this time. We are right now about 1 year from the day we started planning for this, and it is always a great joy, frankly, for us to work with the department and with DISA as we do that, and a remarkable teamwork that comes from that group, and I am so thankful and frankly pleased and always pleased to work with DISA and their planning team in particular. Our mission partners, we thank them for their advice and counsel as we develop the program. AFCEA certainly has responsibility for content and delivery, but certainly intent is important as well. We'd like to make sure we're in front of the things that industry wants to hear, that we're in front of the department in terms of what they need, and hopefully we succeeded in that. We did it with a great amount of help from our sponsors and industry partners. Thank you for their support to the symposium. We listened to those critiques, those thoughts. We are out all the time asking for input and guidance, and General Shea, on his behalf, I can once again stress that we are a learning institution. We do take counsel easily and appreciatively, and we thank you for your thoughts and comments. We've had some key partners in CompTIA and GIAC, GIAC, certifying organizations that reviewed many of our sessions, allowed us to present 22 continuing education units throughout the theaters. We would like to thank our preferred providers as well for their superb cyber instruction. Once again, to put this program together, we had a remarkable planning team from AFCEA. My thanks to the people who do so much work, so long, and in remarkable coordination with DISA, with DoD. Their names are too many to mention. I do know that they do deserve a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our planners a round of applause. It happens with our sponsors, it happens with our planners, and a couple folks get to stand up in front and claim anything like a little bit of credit. It's their work and their energy that has put us together here, and hopefully you found the event productive. whatever it may be, from business, academia, or the military and government. We're proud to do this event. Hope it's clear how we're dedicated to accomplish AFCEA's mission in support of national security. Please consider becoming a member. It's important to us. We have about 32,000 members, about 154 chapters. We work as a worldwide. We are an international organization. We're proud of what we do in the space where we reside, be it military, defense, security, homeland security, or intelligence. General Shea offers his apologies. He couldn't be here to close because he's involved with one of our intelligence events, which kicked off this morning. Happy to be doing this with the Navy. We do have some upcoming events. I'm not going to go through them. Hit the website. You'll see the full list. We do have a classified cyber symposium on the 13th of July. I'd offer to you, taking conversation into the classified realm. It's on the website. It's upcoming. There's still some spaces left. We ask for your thoughts to be part of that audience, and to be certainly your input would be valued in what we talk about. We have an Augusta event that's booming. It's going on down in Augusta, Georgia in August. We just enjoy that event. It's the whole region, the cyber region down there is focused on what's happening at Fort Gordon, happening with the Army, but also happening with NSA, who is a big customer and a big operator down at Fort Gordon. If you hadn't been to Fort Gordon lately, you better catch it now. You'll very soon not recognize much of it at all. The building, the campus, the operations, the ongoing efforts going on, not only in Fort Gordon, but Augusta, Georgia as well. Used to say it used to be the masters in our event were the key activities in Augusta. No longer. The business is moving in, operations are executing, and developments happening, particularly in education too, which is starting to happen in a way that's really remarkable to see. To help us make these upcoming events and next year's defensive cyber operations, that rate the session is very important to us. We look at it very closely and bring it back to the planning team. We will, as I said, now conclude the symposium. 2 events: meet the seniors upstairs, meeting with DISA leadership, and also in room 340 to 342, what we call small business speed dating, with Ms. Sharon Jones working with the DISA Office of Small Business. We think you'll find it awfully productive. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I hope the event was productive to you. Don't miss what's happening this afternoon. With that said, travel safe, and thank you for being here. See you next year. See you next year, May 15 through 17 in Baltimore. Thank you very much.